All right, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so happy Monday. I'm sorry my notice for this meeting got sent out a little late today. We just got back into town last night, and I don't know, I am such a routine person. If I barely get off my routine, I like get off completely. So it took me till like 3 o'clock to even realize I didn't have it done. But we're all here now. So what I want to talk about today are some of the basics, because I feel like, and especially we do have a lot of new people. I know the faces I'm looking at aren't necessarily new, but again, we record these to share. And I like that the faces I'm looking at aren't new, because after I talk, I'm going to ask you guys to talk. And I feel like your wisdom will help make this a better recording even for everyone. But I know that when we're promoting, and even still me, almost 4 years later, sometimes I make it too hard. And so I just wanted to go through and make sure that everybody knows there's so many tools to help you with this business that you do not need to recreate the wheel. As a matter of fact, we would like you not to recreate the wheel, because if you start doing something totally different than the rest of us, that's very confusing for customers and promoters, and you start bringing people in, and it gets confusing. So I just made a list, basically, of the different tools that we have at our disposal, and I'm going to go through them, give you my snippets on a few of them, and then when I get done, as I'm doing this, if you think of a tool, jot it down, because as I was jotting these down, I did it a couple hours ago, and then right before we started this, I sat down, I thought of two that I'd already forgotten. So keep me on track, let's all help each other. If there's a tool I've forgotten, be ready to throw that in when the time comes. But so the first one I'm going to talk about is probably the most obvious, and that's your cloud office. Now, I have done several videos. I actually have one video that is step-by-step, tab by tab, everything that's available to you in your cloud office. So we're not going to go through that today. But I do want to point out to you some of the highlights of what's in your cloud office that you can be using. It's full of reports. It tells you who's ordered, what they've ordered, when they ordered. It tells you who's on your team. Are they qualified? Are they active? Who's in VIP, who's earned the auto bonus. There's just any report you could possibly want, it's there. You may have to find it, but it's there. It gives you all of your personal customers' information. It's got their name, their email. You can contact them, so because I think so many people rely on social media to do their contacting. And as we talked about after the whole big Facebook crash of 2019, that you can't always rely on social media because it is a separate entity and you need to have those backups. All that information is in the cloud. One of the most obvious things of the cloud are the training videos. There are video after video. And what I love about them are that they are short snippets. So you don't necessarily, it's not like you have to I've got to sit here for a whole, hour and a half and watch this. You can watch one or two. There are a couple that I love that I just sometimes, I've seen them a million times, but sometimes I just pull them back up, re-listen to the words, let them sink in one more time, and then go about my day. And then something that's in your cloud that I don't know if you guys think of or recognize it as being a tool, but anytime you earn credits, whether you earn them through Refer To, whether you get them through some sort of promotion, or if it's when you're taking your commission and you're converting it to credits, credits are a tool for your business. They can be used to help people get started. You can use credits to offer free shipping, free product. You can use it as an incentive for your team, an incentive for new customers. So when you are looking at those commissions and your credits, remember that those credits, yes, obviously they can be used to purchase product for yourself. However, outside of that, they are a tool for your business. I owned a business a long time ago, and I didn't have anybody giving me credits or giving me the ability to have credits. I had to come up with all this stuff on my own. These are already in there. The fun part is now you get to say, okay, this month I've got $200 in credits, or maybe you've only got 20 bucks in credits. That's where the challenge comes in. How can you use the credits that are there? And that's where you can be creative and turn this into whatever you want it to be. But definitely think of your credits as a tool for your business. So moving forward, social media, that is definitely a tool. And when I say social media being a tool, I don't mean, I guess in a way it is a tool because we do communicate through that and we do post and try to attract people. But we specifically have the Facebook, the Le-Vel fan page, Facebook. We have Le-Vel. So in the last probably, if you guys are on Instagram in the last month or two, you've definitely noticed that Le-Vel is kicking up their game on Instagram. Finally, the page is much more abundant, and they are doing stories. I'm so happy they're finally doing stories. So we have that. We also have an amazing YouTube channel that is Le-Vel specific. So sometimes I see people trying to make their own Facebook stories or trying to make their own, Instagram things. You don't even have to do that. You can take them straight from Facebook. You can share them directly. I don't feel like that gets you as much attention as it is if you copy and paste it, but mix it up, share them sometimes, copy and paste them. But go to those official pages so that when you do share something, you know that it's compliant, because that's a really big deal. And I'm just going to throw this out there. When you are on social media and you are following other thrivers, I know it's very easy to say, oh, so-and-so was in the magazine, I'm going to follow her. So-and-so was on stage, I'm going to follow her. And so then you just start to assume that because they were in the magazine or they were on stage or they're at 200K, that everything they post is good. And I want you to police that, because it's not. You will unfortunately see, and I've seen it over the last 4 years, some 200Ks share things that are not compliant. That's their business. That's up to them. If they want to risk it, that's whatever, but I'm not going to share it. So, for sure if it comes from the Le-Vel Facebook page or from the Le-Vel Instagram page or their YouTube, that it is 100% compliant. It's been picked through with a comb. Nothing on there is anything that you can't share. So, before you start trying to whip up a graphic of maybe a girl running and then try to throw out something about a DFT, go into the Facebook picture album. I can guarantee there's a picture of a woman in there running. She's got a DFT on her arm. You don't have to do all that. It's got the logo. Everything is good. So just, be aware of that when you are trying to copy and share and paste and things like that. Make sure you're doing compliant. Then we have, outside of social media, we've got good old-fashioned printed media. We have the Thriving magazine, and then there was the one edition of Strive. Those are still available in the Cloud Office. You can actually still order those in your Cloud Office. We also had that USA Today. That was a one-time thing. I don't see that anymore in the Cloud Office, so they must have run out of the reprints by now. But when something like that is announced and it comes out, and I'm just going to be honest, this was the second time something like that came out. The first time it came out, Laura Wernsman and I drove between the Cincinnati airport and Lebanon, Ohio. We literally stopped, I don't even know how many places. It was like mass insanity. I don't even know what we thought we were going to be getting, but we raided every bookstore, every gas station. We bought so many of these things that we ended up coming back and people were like, well, I already got one, we don't need it. But it was like so exciting to have it. So I was a bit more calm this time. I just picked up a couple to have. But you do want to have those things. They are tools. Le-Vel is not messing around when they take the time to make sure something that's with their name and their information is inside of USA Today. That went all over the country. So that is something you want to have a copy of. And it's okay to loan it out and say to somebody, I only have one of these. I'm going to get it back from you in a couple of days. You don't have to go buy 8,000 of them. You don't have to, you don't have to drive all over like we did. And plus that makes it even a little bit more valuable. There's just a couple in your, possession, so you're loaning them out. So printed media is actually still a real thing. And I will tell you, when I first ordered my Thrive, and I'm not going to go through my whole story because most of you know it, I will tell you I did get a copy of one of the Thriving magazines. And it was that magazine. It was not the person I signed up under. It was not the experience itself. It was nothing that I read on Facebook. It was nothing that I had heard from anyone else, because you got to remember this was 4 years ago. It was the magazine that I read after I'd placed my first order and was taking the product and liking it. That's where I read and saw the big picture. That's where I realized that no matter who I brought into the business or who brought me into the business, that this was something I could do forever. So don't underestimate the power of sending something like that home with someone who you think has potential. A lot of times I will mail those to people. Like if I have somebody who's maybe a promoter and they're dabbling and they're out of state because it's a little harder, I think, in their mind because they're not here with us, I will send them things like that because I know it planted a lot of seeds in my head. And so I like to share that with people, especially business-minded people. When they see that magazine and they really start reading through, like I didn't read any of the articles about health. I didn't read any of the articles about the product. I dove right in and I read the articles about the people. I immediately found them on Facebook and scrutinized. Did what I read match what I was seeing? So, never underestimate that. Like it's awesome to have Facebook stories to share, but when you have a hard copy magazine, if you have someone you're really thinking of, that's something that could, flip the switch for them. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Oh, okay. The booklet is still in there then. Okay. So I missed it. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. Say it now.
You can get it in the Le-Vel Gear store right now. It's a 5-pack for $5.
Okay. So the booklet is in Le-Vel Gear right now, but the magazines are still in your Cloud Office. Okay. Thank you, Sandra D.
It's in Le-Vel Gear.
Yay. All right, so next on my list are events. Now, events are tools, and I mean anything from Thrive Palooza down to the local that we had last week or the local we're having this Wednesday in Hamilton. An event is a tool. It is, you can look at an event a couple of different ways. Number one, obviously something big like Thrive Palooza is for your education, but it's also great marketing when people see that, you know, hey, Courtney's actually getting on a plane and going all the way to Texas for this thing. Like, she must really be working this business. Like, they understand that you're not just dabbling anymore. Like, you are going someplace for this. So, you know, there's the pictures of it. There's a sharing on the Facebook, and there's actually the knowledge that comes to you. Thrive Palooza is huge. I don't know any other way to say it. We've talked about it on a couple other Zooms. It's huge. If you're thinking of going and you're not quite sure, pull the trigger and go. I always tell people, if you think you might want to do it, that means you do, and you should just go. You're not going to know until you go. If you go and you hate it, you can be mad at me, but I don't think you're going to go and hate it. But then, you know, same thing on the other end of that spectrum. When you go to a local, you know, some of you might have been there last week and you might have been there by yourself, and that's okay. You still, you know, fill your cup. You still get to hear the stories. You still get to be reminded about the business. Some of you had a guest. That's even better. That was the sales tool for you. That was an event where they got to learn in a very non-confrontational way how amazing this product is for people. So definitely think about events. You know, and it could be a virtual event even. Maybe you're sharing something, you know, I don't know, a video of the speakers. I saw so many Facebook Lives, like little snippets of our speakers. And you guys all notice whenever I'm done with an event, usually that night I try to edit through and pull out little highlights of what people say, because not only does that show anyone that's following me that I host these events and that I have all, you know, and I try to always have different people, but I tag the person who spoke. So now that person's friends, sweet little Ebony, she's not on here tonight. I don't see her face. But her video that I shared from last week's local, I cannot tell you, every time I turn around, my phone's like bing, bing, bing. And I get excited and I look and they're commenting to Ebony. So never underestimate sharing other people's stories and not only helping your business, but helping their business by doing so. Okay, so moving right along. I think I'm doing okay on time. This is going to sound weird for some of you, but the people that are around you, they are tools. Your upline, your sideline, your downline. We experienced, and I think, let me see. Yeah, Alyssa and Becky are both on here. So you guys know Alyssa and Becky they're not actually in my downline, but we've brought them into our team to be a support unit for them. Well, they were at training last week when Lindsay was here, and they supported us. So it doesn't matter whose team you're on. It just matters that we're all in this together, and so we can all help each other. So whenever you're looking for a tool, just remember, all the people around you are a tool. Yeah, that sounds funny. Anyway, you know what I mean. And I will say this because I have seen this over the last 4 years. We are incredibly fortunate to be a part of Maria's line with Susan and Lindsay and Brittany. There are some teams out there that are nothing like that. They are not helpful. They are cutthroat. They bring you in and push you out. They're like a little baby bird and they just kick you out. So just remember, you've got all that support, and that's a tool for you. Like I'm here for my team. You know, everyone's here for their team. So keep that in mind. Some other things that you may not think of as a tool for your business, but it's totally a tool for your business, are these different promotions. And this goes back to Maria and Susan and all them. These different promotions that they run, you know, sometimes it might be, like I know today, Susan put out, she's got a drawing for a free necklace if you've bought your Thrive Palooza ticket. That's a tool for you. Like it could be a tool for motivation. It could be a tool for just putting you into action, but that's a tool. This Ultra accountability group that Maria is running, that is a huge tool for your business. I can't tell you how many people I added and was like, oh, I don't have to do all this. I don't have to do the daily post. I don't have to keep up with all this. I just get to actually use that. Because if you've never run an accountability group, it's a lot of work. So I was super relieved that she was running something like that. March Madness, you guys, again, that's a huge amount of work on her part. Yes, Maria has an assistant, but how do you get an assistant? You work your butt off first to earn enough money to have an assistant. So it's not like she's just sitting back doing nothing. But we're hosting that March Madness and keeping track of the brackets and having the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and all that stuff. That's a lot of work on her part, but that's a super good tool for you. If you need something to kick you in the butt, or you're competitive, or you just like having something to help you, that's a tool. And then now layer on top of that, the leader retreat that Susan, Lindsay, and Brittany are putting on. And now we have those weekly check-ins for them. Again, that's a tool for your business. And I'll take a breather here in a second and just right now and just explain. Tools are there to help make the job easier. They are not there to overwhelm you. So if you are looking at this and you're like, this accountability group and this retreat and this March Madness is, I'm overwhelmed, it's too much. You don't have to use all the tools. Just because I have 4 screwdrivers down in the basement doesn't mean I pull them all out when I go to hang a picture, right? I pick the one that's right for the job. So when you're looking at these tools, use what works for you. Now, with that said, don't just automatically assume the best one. Like, kind of play around and see, because maybe, maybe that leadership retreat is what you really do need. Maybe you really do need something over your head or something exciting at the end of the rope. Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what the winner of March Madness gets. I have no recollection of, I have no idea, but we're still turning in every week and we're still hoping that we win, right? At least leader retreat, you know what's coming. There's a vacation situation at the end with like a mastermind at the same time. So, when you're looking at your tools, pick and choose what you think will work, but also try something new every now and then and go ahead and push yourself. I mean, this is business. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And 2 more tools before I breathe and let you guys start talking. Your website, that's a tool. And there are a lot of businesses out there that make you pay for your own website, and yours is free. And that is huge. If you have ever tried to design a website or you've ever had to pay for a website, you know how nice that is that yours is just automatically included. And I love, love, love the 123 website that they brought us, that more of that landing page, so they don't have to get all into the Thrive catalog and get all confused. They just learn about the 123. That is a super good tool. And then last but not least, and this kind of goes back to your upline, sideline, downline, but the 3-way chats, whether it's on the phone, a group text, or in a group message, that is a huge tool for your business. Never underestimate the power of connecting someone with a total stranger and letting them talk. If you've ever run a cash register in your life, whether it was at McDonald's or a store, you know that people will come to the cash register and they will tell that poor girl ringing them up their entire life story in 5 minutes. It happens all the time because it's strangers. And the same thing will happen with your 3-way chats. Your best friend you've known your whole life will get on the phone with me and tell me about 3 medications that they're taking that you have no clue about, and something traumatic that happened 5 years ago that they've never mentioned a word to you. So connect people with other people. Let that be like a super important tool for you. Now, I've talked a lot. I'm actually kind of out of breath. So what I want to do is I want you guys to wave me down. If there's a tool that you've thought of that I haven't listed, I want us to make sure we say them out loud, because like I said, this recording will go for everyone. And if there's any tool that is like super specific, successful for you, like maybe there's a tool that you use all the time that's rocking your business. Laura Wernsman, your hand went up.
Can you guys hear me okay? Mm-hmm. So I wrote down the group chats. I was going to talk about that, but that was one of the last things you talked about. But I love those, because also embedded in that, you can do voice clips. And that I have recorded 2 different versions on my story within the voice memo app. So I can actually record like a 2-minute story. So, and I just have it saved and I forward it, and it doesn't have anyone's name. It's just a really quick story of, my story. And I don't say anyone's name. I basically send that so right now I'm connecting to 5 people that they're giving me. So I'm just saying, who I am, typing that out. I send the 123 Thrive story. What is Thrive? That 60-second one. Yep. And I immediately send I forward my voice clip story. And that's so easy. I mean, it's like it's like I copy paste all of that. Mm-hmm. So it's really a quick way to, I literally reached out to like 25 people today doing that.
Right.
So, hold on.
Work harder, work smarter, not harder. Becky, your hand went up.
Okay, there we go. My car. So I have like my name, my phone number, and everything on the back of my car. I can't tell you how many people have seen my car driving around and will send me a picture of it, or send it to my husband, or be like, hey, I had a random person a couple weeks ago, or about a year ago. She messaged me and she said, I saw your car, and she told me this really sad person. I mean, her story, I didn't know her from Adam, but I spoke to her. She said, I knew it was time for me to commit when I saw your car. She's not a part of my team, no nothing, but my car inspired her. So if you don't have a logo on your car, highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Yes, and she's not just talking about an auto bonus car. She's talking about any car that you drive. And you can go to Le-Vel Gear and you can order. They have like nowadays, you can just order them from them. If you live around here in Lebanon or near us, we have a guy in town that has all the graphics. He's done a lot of our cars. So it doesn't have to be an auto bonus car. It just has to be, the car you're driving or even the car your husband's driving. That's what we should start doing. Just putting it on all the husband's cars, making them drive around. But that's an excellent, I wrote that down. Thank you, Becky. I totally blanked out on that one. Alyssa, you are unmuted.
So you've also got your business cards. And I know I learned something from Lindsay. First off, when I first started 2 years ago, they were a lot more expensive through the gear store. I think 250 or like $15 now. That's nothing. And they're all approved graphics through Le-Vel. They're nice. They're customized to whatever color. But I utilized them a lot this past week because Riley's been doing color guard. And I thought of Lindsay talking about where she's out at these sporting events, and I had a box of Pro Bars, and I had a few friends that, I consider them acquaintances, hope to be their friend, especially with our kids going to school together. But they were starving because we had a 2-hour color guard thing that we had to watch, and they all got Pro Bars, but they all had my business card attached to them, which had the 123 site on it because I ordered some new ones, but it had all of my information, my Facebook, my email, and my phone number.
Super smart. And that's like the most basic tool ever. And I didn't even think of it to write it down. So thank you. That was awesome. All right. Anybody else? Who else has ideas, thoughts? Miss Dilbeck, you are open.
So this is like, all of a sudden I thought of this and it's so simple, and I was trying to write things down as you had said them just to make sure I was getting them all down. But our daily challenges that we're getting, that's a tool.
Yeah, the homework group. Yeah.
It's the homework group, which is just, it's making us go further than what we would before, rather than just our 5 reach outs. The majority of everybody's probably doing more than 5 because it's so easy to do just 5. Mm-hmm. And, if you have an accountability partner, whether the accountability partner's in your 2.0 Ultra group, or if it's a sideline or somebody that you're bouncing off ideas. I know Alyssa and Becky have kind of teamed up. They're sidelines, and, they, I think, tend to be kind of each other's accountability partner and so forth. And it doesn't have to be on the same team. Just somebody that will push you. And then just, it's a tool, but it's just how you do your birthday reach outs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like elaborate a little bit for people who have, like, people who watch this recording that don't know, like.
Oh, okay. You always wish people happy birthday on Facebook. We'll take it a step further and send them a personal private message wishing them a happy birthday. And, you can offer them a Thrive goodie for their birthday. What's your address so I can put it in the mail to you? It can be a Pro Bar. It could be a 1-day sample. Now, we were talking last week about how, in order to mail those, the cheapest that we can find how to mail it is $3.50. So, we're still trying to tweak and figure out what's the cheapest way that we can mail those, and without the powder exploding and then them calling in security and trying to figure out what we had in that envelope that exploded everywhere. So.
Exactly. And I was, now that we have Blast, I think Blast is have a blast on your birthday. Hope you had a blast on your birthday. Have a blast on vacation. Whatever. Like you can have a blast over and over. And those little suckers are easy to pop in an envelope and mail. So I placed an order today for a bunch more of those because I love the protein bars, but if I can deliver them, I'm going to stick with that. But for things I'm mailing, I'm going to switch to Blast and see how that does. Because again, like I talked about at the training, to me, that's a gateway drug. Like that's one of those things that anybody can have. Kids, adults, anybody who doesn't love like a fruit punch flavored drink. And that could be the gateway that brings them finally into the fold of Le-Vel. So yeah.
And along those lines, you could also use cafe as the weather gets colder again in the fall to the winter, putting that in somebody's birthday card envelope, that kind of a thing.
I forget about cafe because I don't drink coffee, but cafe would be another really good, easy one to mail out. Oh, Becky, you are unmuted.
Okay, so what about yourself? So like when we say, you wear your Le-Vel t-shirt, or you're going to be somewhere like super crazy busy, loud and proud DFT, maybe your Thrive hat. I don't know. Like whatever it is that you do, let yourself be your biggest tool.
That is perfect. Because we were just talking about that. If any of you listen to Ed Milet, he's a big business guy who's gone through it all. And one of the things he said in one of his podcasts one day was that people are so shy to wear their own brand, but yet they will walk around with Nike and Under Armour and all these other people who do not cut them paychecks, and they'll wear that everywhere. But the Le-Vel is cutting you a paycheck every Tuesday. So yeah, get your DFT where someone can see it. Wear your jacket, your t-shirt, whatever. And again, as long as you use the approved graphics that are in the cloud, you could have somebody local make you a t-shirt. So if you don't see something on the Le-Vel gear that you want, or maybe you want it, but you want it to be customized in some way, as long as they're using the actual approved graphics, you can find somebody local that could make that for you. Excellent point. Sandra D., you're back.
Okay, I forgot to mention this one. One of the most important tools that we probably haven't even talked about, your story is your biggest tool. Oh, we can't hear you, Tammy.
Oops. I was just saying I'm running out of room on my paper with all of our tools. But yeah, the story, that's probably the most basic one that I didn't even think to say. So not only knowing your story and learning how to tell it a couple of different ways. And what I mean by that is, are you able to do it in a 1-minute time clip on a voice message? Mm-hmm. Are you also able to sit face to face to someone and give a bit more detail? Are you able to stand in front of a room of people and share? Have you typed it up and sent it to Le-Vel? If any of you on here have not sent your story to Le-Vel, I cannot encourage you enough. I think I have sent in 3 or 4 stories in the last 4 years. They all have a different spin on them each time, but it's still part of my ever-changing Thrive experience. And it's not, sometimes it's the day it gets shared on Le-Vel because, your notifications will go all over the place. Everyone's, sharing or commenting or whatever. But I always save it because, it gets buried so quickly. But that's you can share your own story every now and then. You can send your own story. You can even say, look, it was featured on the fan page. They don't have to know that meant you sent it in. Let me see. Courtney sent me something in the chat. I have bronchitis. So, bless her heart. She's sick. So you have, I'm not going to raise my hand, but I want, oh yeah. Okay, stand free. So your 24-hour recorded call. So Courtney wants to talk about that, but she has bronchitis. So Courtney, I hope you feel better. But your 24-hour call. So again, that's your story. And like Laura was saying, you can have not only, the old days, a year or so ago, we only did like a recorded call where people could dial in and you could make your graphic and you could share your graphic. And I actually have my recorded call printed on my business cards, back to Alyssa with the business cards. But you could also do a recorded story, whether that, like how Laura has that, the voice memo that she's sharing, that's a version of her recorded story. You could also video yourself and put it on YouTube and you have that to share. So, yeah, see, this is so good. We have so many good things. Okay, hang on, let me see. Laura Warrensman, you're open.
What about our team pages?
That's an excellent tool for your team. So remember, your team pages are for your team only. Yeah. Anyone that's watching this isn't sure, I encourage you, if you're a 12K or higher, to get yourself a team page. And let's say you're 4K and you're shooting for 12K, go ahead and get yourself a team page. I do want to say this. So when I'm saying team page, it's basically a private group on Facebook. And I do mean private, it's secret or whatever the top-notch level it is you can make on Facebook. You need to make sure your upline and maybe even your upline is in there, because you want to have people helping you monitor what's going on in there. But like if you're on, so like the Dream Team, that's my team page. Laura has her own team page. Sandra has her own team page. So you want to have a team page, because that's where not only can you make sure to send out updates like so-and-so's having a local, or so-and-so, tonight there's a call, or whatever, but that's also where you can just reach out to your team. You can send them motivation. You can tell them to hop on things like this Zoom. It's just a good source of connection, community. And it's also a place where I always tell people, if you're in, here's another tool, your upline chat. If you're in your upline chat, so I'm trying to look at face. Okay, so here's a good one. So Laura and I are Sonia's upline. So let's say Sonia reaches out in our upline chat one day, and Laura is maybe driving and can't get to the phone, and I'm with a client and we don't see it, and she needs somebody to answer a question. She can go into Dream Team and she can type that question. And there's, how many hundred people in there that can see it, and they might answer before we even get a chance to answer it. So while your upline chat is an amazing tool for you, and I should go into that. So if you are a promoter, which you must be because you're on this video, you should be in a group chat with whoever brought you into this business and whoever brought them into this business, or the next closest upline. And that's where you want to go to ask questions, to it's one thing to have a general question that the whole team would benefit, but like, for example, tonight I got a question. There's a particular promoter who has a customer that might switch and yada, yada, what they're referred to. And the whole team doesn't need to know what's going on in your life, but I need to know. So I'm glad that they asked me so we could talk them through that. So your upline chat is a really, really good tool for you that will also work in conjunction with your team page. So see, we have so many tools. There's so many things you can do. Anything else I'm forgetting? Sandra, you're open.
Okay, you said video yourself and put it on YouTube, but is that a little tricky since it's not going through Le-Vel and we don't know how compliant, and if somebody's not being as compliant as what they should be?
Correct. It is tricky. So what I would encourage you to do, just like before you would send your story into Le-Vel, I would encourage you to send it to your upline and have somebody look it over. And then if all else fails, not that you would want to read something word for word, but like I could take the stories that I have sent into Le-Vel that they have published, and I could add, ad lib off of those a little bit and make that my story that I record. But yeah, you definitely want to make sure before you put anything out there public that it is compliant, because here's the thing, like, it's not like, we're not just being like picky about compliance. If Le-Vel compliance department finds something, whether it's your Facebook post, a video you've made, a t-shirt you've made, whatever, if it's not compliant, they will shut you down. And it's legit. So they actually will go onto Facebook, for example, and they will search Le-Vel arthritis. And they will let Facebook generate any post that says Le-Vel or Thrive and arthritis in it. And when they see it, like let's say that Laura Wernsman, and she didn't, but let's say Laura Wernsman made a post and it had arthritis in it. They would contact her and say, Laura, we are aware of this post was made on this date on Facebook. It uses this word that's not compliant. You are temporarily shut down until that post is deleted. And they're serious. You're shut down until that goes away. So you want to be aware of that because you don't want to get shut down.
Okay, last thing I'm going to say. This is the last time I'm going to talk. Sorry about this. So I saw a post from a promoter last week who has been in the business probably almost 4 years, knows better, put something that was so grossly non-compliant, but I know her like as well as I know Sherry and you and Laura, and I'm like, I can't be the one that turns her in. I'm like, but it was so grossly non-compliant. It's not even funny, and she knows better.
Well, I will say this. You can be the one that sends it in. She's not going to know who sends it in. Here's the thing. No one is being mean to someone when you send them into compliance. You're protecting your job. So, because if Le-Vel gets shut down because of some idiotic behavior on someone else's part, that's your paycheck as well. So when you do see someone breaking compliance, all you have to do is contact compliance through the cloud, let them know what you saw, give them all the information you can, and it's not like they're not going to be like, hey, Sally, your best friend called and turned you in. It's not like that. They're just going to go and check it out themselves, and then they will contact the person. But yeah, you are protecting your paycheck and my paycheck. So yeah, you can be the one to turn her in.
I'm wondering if it's already gone. Oh, no, it's still there. So I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay, Alyssa, you are on.
So I think the other one too that we all just kind of bypass are these things right here. They're a tool too.
What's that?
Oh, what are these? So I keep, no joke, these in a Ziploc in my purse because I can't tell you how many companies I've seen recently that they don't like them to see the backs of these ahead of ordering. It's like, just order and what you get is what you get. I love to be able to physically hand this to someone and say, here, look at it. I mean, go ahead, investigate the back of this. Feel free.
Right.
it's tangible to them. When I think some people feel more comfortable when they can hold it and touch it and look at it versus reading about it. I know that, for instance, like my dad, he took it to the doctor, and his doctor looked at it, and his doctor was like, "Oh, I mean, you actually got this before you order it?" And he said, "Well, yeah, my daughter gave it to me." So this was nice for him to be able to have. But I think it's also one of those tools that we take for granted, just not like as a sample, but as a teaching tool too, to have it out in front of people instead of a piece of paper sometimes.
Absolutely. And real quick, because we're getting ready to get cut off in 2 minutes from Zoom, and it'll just black us out and send us away. But Courtney, just again, one of the most obvious, the 1, 2, 3 brochures. Of all the stuff that's for sale in Le-Vel gear, and this is just my opinion, even above business cards, I think the 1, 2, 3 brochures are the thing to put your money in, because you can write your name and email on the brochure. If you don't have business cards yet, you can print a mailing label and slap it on there if you need to. But that brochure says what the 1, 2, 3 is. It has the ingredients listed. So when you have someone who, like Alyssa was just saying, I don't know, I need to check it out or take it to my doctor or whatever, it's all right there and ready to go. And they're that trifold size, so they're easy to tuck into your purse or luggage or whatever it is, wherever you're going. So if you're looking, when new people come to me and they're excited about ordering business cards, I say, before you buy business cards, buy those brochures. Use that, and then if you still want cards, go get cards. Because same thing, you can put that brochure with a trial, a sample, or whatever you're going to send out. Okay, so anyway, we are getting ready to get cut off. Does anybody have any last minute thing they want to say real quick before Zoom kills us? No? Okay. This was so good. You guys had so many things that I hadn't even written down yet. So that's why I love that we do this together. So I will get the recording. It just, it's got to download and then upload and all that jazz. But as soon as it's ready, I will share it on Dream Team, and you guys can send it to your teams. All right? Bye. Thank you.